Hi, it's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. I make videos about books. Please hit the subscribe button. It really helps my channel grow. Today is the start of 12 and 12 part 3. We are in the third quarter of the year. That's actually crazy. So if you don't know, last year I had 12 of my friends recommend me 12 books to read throughout the year. I'm reading one per month. It's July. It's July 19th. It's a little late for me. I'm trying to focus on, I have all these videos that I just need to read one more book. So I've been focusing on that and also the alphabet project. But here we are. I am going to be reading Rachel's Holiday by Marian Keyes. This is Aoife's pick from Pretty Purple Polka Dots. She has been telling me to read this book since I have known her, and I think I have known her since 2019. So it's about time that I read this. I don't know much about this, so we're gonna read the back of it together. So I'm still gonna do all my updates and stuff, but I feel like I don't know much about this. You might not know much about this, so let's go. The fast lane is much too slow for Rachel Walsh. And Manhattan is the perfect place for a young Irish female to overdo everything. I am absolutely shocked this is Irish. If you don't know, Aoife's Irish. But Rachel's love of a good time is about to land her in the emergency room, and it will also cost her her job and the boyfriend she adores. When her loving family hustles her back home and checks her into Ireland's answer to the Betty Ford Clinic, Rachel is hopeful. Perhaps it will be lovely. Spa treatments, celebrities, that kind of thing. Instead, she finds a lot of group therapy, which leads her against her will to some important self-knowledge. She will also find something that all women like herself fear, a man who might actually be good for her. This sounds good. I am this year getting into more regular fiction. I was doing romance, thriller, horror, but this year I've seen myself get into historical fiction and regular fiction. So we will see. Yay. So this is the first book for 12 and 12 that has not worked out for me. Every other book has been 5 stars. That's 6 books that are 5 stars. This book was a DNF. A couple of things. This book is 600 pages. A contemporary book that is 600 pages. That was probably never gonna work for me. The other thing is that this book came out in 1998, which it's quite dated. Some of the jokes in this, I only read 100 pages. So I'm not marking it as anything. I just took it off of my TBR, and I will be unhauling this. I found the jokes in at least the first 100 pages that I read to not be funny. I don't think that they were necessarily rude. They personally did not work for me. Also, I hated Rachel. She's the main character. She's a drug addict. The whole thing is that Rachel is a drug addict who lives in New York City, and she gets fired from her job, and then her boyfriend breaks up with her. So her family starts an intervention, and they take her back to Ireland, and she starts going to a rehab. And that's basically as far as I got in the 100 pages. But I could not stand Rachel. She is... And I think that's the point. I think that's the whole point, is that Rachel sucks. And then I think the whole journey is her not sucking. But I could not picture myself listening to 500 more pages of it. I read for fun and for entertainment, and it was not fun and it was not entertaining. So Rachel's Holiday is a DNF, 100 pages in. I believe that was 15% of the book. I did not get bar. I think it was a 15-hour audiobook. Also, this is the US edition, but I listened to the original unabridged audiobook, which is narrated by Marian Keyes. I usually don't like when the authors narrate their own books. Pretty much the only exception to that is Elizabeth Acevedo. Did not like the narration. I just did not like this. I'm so sorry, Aoife. no. I am 41% into the love of my life. I did not mean to do that. I was reading it last night, and if I'm going to be completely honest with you, because I feel like I always am, I do not want to get off the couch and talk to my phone. So I'm doing it today before I read. So this was recommended by my friend Sherry. Sherry does not have a YouTube or like any kind of social media, so unfortunately I'm not going to tag her in anything, but Sherry has become one of my best friends ever this past year. I have no idea when she found my channel. I'm assuming sprints with Lexi, but she has been such a great supporter of me, and I absolutely love her. And when she recommended me this book, I was very confused, because when I think of Sherry, I think horror thrillers, but she has surprised me this year and has gotten into fantasy. So like, who knows, you know, what you doing? Now I want to talk about this book, but there are so many moving parts, so I'm going to try my best to get through everything that's happening. So we are following a married couple, and they have a 2-year-old, and the woman in the relationship has cancer. And I don't think that this is a spoiler, because she finds out that her cancer is in remission, and this is obviously great news. But then her husband found some paperwork that her, I think her name is Emma, that Emma was hiding, and he is becoming very suspicious of her, and like doesn't believe that she graduated college and thinks maybe she has another life going on. And so we're following, I think his name is Leo. We're following Leo as he's trying to figure out what's happening. And then we're also following Emma as she's trying to like tell you what happened in her past life. And this is from Book of the Month, and on the back it says contemporary fiction, but it does have a little bit of a mystery element, because I am trying to figure out, what is she hiding? What is she hiding? Because it's some big shit, and like I have a feeling about maybe one of the things, but I don't want to be like, yeah, that's definitely it, and then maybe wrong. Also, I don't really read that way. I just read with vibes only. Like, I don't try to figure stuff out. I would genuinely like to like be shocked when I read it. So far 41% in, I couldn't put it down, and I am absolutely loving this, but I am also so confused about why Sherry, it just doesn't seem like a Sherry book. I'm not saying that it's not a good book and that Sherry can't like it. I'm just confused because it doesn't seem like a Sherry book, only because it is marked as contemporary fiction, and that is not what I think when I think of Sherry. So when I was getting in my 12 and 12 recommendations last year, I knew I had to pick this one, because I think I got over 25. So I picked this one like almost immediately, because I was so confused as to why Sherry picked this. But 41% in, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of stuff going on that I find really, really interesting. And I am really, really liking this so far. So I just like, it feels like a mystery and all this stuff, and I'm really liking the vibes of it. So we'll see. I like it. Hey. So I finished The Love of My Life last night. I did not update again because of laziness, and also because I was so into this book, I really didn't want to get up. So let's go through the process of me reading this book. I did my initial thing, and I was really liking it. And then we get deeper into the story and what Emma has been hiding for 20 years. And I was just like, okay, like I get it, whatever. But then something happens through this big event in her life, and I thought that it was really well done. And then something else happens to her, which was absolutely devastating, and the facts came out, and it was heart crushing for me. I think being a mother, but I don't think you have to be a mother to like really sympathize with Emma in this one, because it was what happened to her was really shitty. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, this is a solid 4. Like, this is a good book. I understand why Sherry recommended it to me. Like, I absolutely get it. And I'm not even joking. The last paragraph, she's like, and he is the love of my life, which is the title of the book. And I just started sobbing because of everything they have been through together. And it's not even who you think I'm talking about. It's someone completely different. So I was absolutely crushed by this book. And I messaged Sherry and I was like, why did you make me read this? Because at that point in time, I was sobbing on my couch. So I ended up giving The Love of My Life 5 stars. And every single time I talk about this book, Harry Styles has a song called Love of My Life. And I always get that song stuck in my head. I don't even really like that song. But it doesn't matter because it's the same title anyway. So stream Harry Styles. Anyway, I absolutely love this book. I think I was the right person for Sherry to recommend this to, because absolutely no one else I can think of off the top of my head would have given this 5 stars. I don't think so. But me? Yeah, it hit me in the feels. It was very good. It's I said in my last update that it's more of a mystery, kind of, but not really. Like, it really is a contemporary fiction, which is something that I am getting into. So Sherry got me right. I was the right person for her to recommend this to, and I honestly don't know who I recommend. I don't know. No one I know who I'm friends with on the internet I would recommend this to. Erica, if you're watching this, I think you would like this. But that's it. 5 stars for this. So Eva's the only book I haven't given 5 stars to. But I promise we're friends. Like, I don't know. We just don't have reading taste the same. It's not the same. For the September 12 and 12, I was between 2 books. I'm running out of books, right? I have 4 books left. But this one scares me and I'm excited for it at the same time. And I could get the audiobook. And it's so funny because I own one of these audiobooks and I just keep putting it. This could be the last book I read. Anyway, I've decided to go with The Between. This is Gabby from Ola Books' pick for me. And I just put it down as to read. And I saw her review. And she gave 5 stars, obviously. And said that it was like one of her new favorites. I remember her telling me that like almost a year ago now when I decided to start doing this. So this book is... I just got chill. Because that's kind of how I feel about it. Okay, so we're following Hilton, like the hotel. And where we are following him now, he's probably in his 40s. I think it's in the 90s. So the very, very first chapter is he is like 8 years old and his parents are dead and he's living with Nana. And he goes home after school and finds her on the floor and thinks she's dead. So, like, feels her and everything. She's cold. So he goes to get a neighbor and he comes back and she's fine. But, like, she's not really acting the same and doesn't really, like, seem the same. And this goes on for a year until Hilton almost drowns and Nana saves him and she ends up dying and drowns. So all that immediately is very sad. I was listening to it while I was driving and I was just like, this is awful. So now we're in present day. And Hilton is like a social worker, I would say. And when we find him, he is not a good guy. He is married, but he's like cheating on his wife and he has kids, but he's not really around and he sucks. So they go to counseling and now he's like made it out of that and the relationship is better and his relationship is better with his kids and stuff. But now all of a sudden his nightmares are back. And his nightmares, like we get to read them and they're italicized and they are super creepy. Like the only way I can describe this book is like the whole time I'm listening to it, it's like very ominous. Like what is going on? So in the very beginning of this audiobook, it was a note from the author and she said that she had this idea of like, what if you at some point were supposed to die? And then this is the between your life after you were supposed to die but you didn't is the between. So I think Hilton is in the between, and it's a super, super cool concept. And even though I just told you all of these things are happening, I think it's still a little slow. And I think it's just because, like I said, it's ominous, and I'm like, what is happening? So a little slow, but also really liking it. Also, I really like this audiobook, and also I just really like this concept. Like, he was supposed to die. It was supposed to be him and not Nana. So now he's like living on borrowed time. Like, I really, really like that concept. Okay, no, but why is this book so good? I'm having a great time. Like, it's very like creepy light. Like, I don't know how to explain it to you, but you just know things are not right with Hilton and everything that's going on. He has had several things where he has thought something has happened, like he has done something. One of those things is something extremely big, and it turns out that that thing didn't happen at all, or that he was dreaming, or he was sleeping, or something. But these really big things that he thought he was doing, he was not doing. And you find out that he was not doing it with him, and it's just like, you go through all these motions with him of him doing these, like, the one thing was awful of you doing it, and then come to find out he didn't do any of that. I'm obsessed with this. And it's like, it's slow. It is a very, like, you're going through the motions of his everyday. It's contemporary horror. Like, that's literally it. That is absolutely it. But I am absolutely obsessed with this. This was such a good recommendation for me, because, like, I have 45% left and I'm too tired to keep reading tonight, but, like, I want to, but I know I can't, but I want to, but I can't. I finished The Between, or did it finish me? I'm not sure. This was amazing. Like, my heart was pounding. And the way it ends makes you think, which is one of my favorite. I really like books. Not that I think that this is open-ended. Is it open-ended? It's kind of open-ended. In my opinion, it's open-ended. What really happened? I don't know. It's really up to you. I'm still trying to figure out what really happened, but I absolutely love this book. I know that Do has several books, and I am very interested in them, but this is her debut. Like, this is a debut. And it is, what? It's amazing. This is just, well, so, absolutely love this. This was 5 stars. Gabby was correct, and I did like this. Love this, and gave it 5 stars. So far, all of the books that I've read for this have been 5 stars, except for Rachel's Holiday. So, I would say this is going really well. So I'm going to do a wrap up next, and then that's the end of this video. Well, this is the wrap up for 12 and 12 part 3. The first book that I read in July was Rachel's Holiday, and by read, I think maybe I got 80 pages in. No. And, Eva has been asking me to read this book for, I think I've known her for 4 years, so I feel like I have really let her down. And I know it's like her favorite book ever, but not every book is going to work for every person, and that book just did not work for me. I think I am almost positive that Rachel goes through like a character transformation, and that's like the whole point of the book. But I couldn't stand Rachel and didn't care about her transformation because of how awful she was in the beginning, and that's just like a personal thing. Next for August was The Love of My Life by Rosie Walsh. This was Sherry's pick. This was when she picked this for me, I was like, what? Because when I think of Sherry, I think thrillers, horror, maybe now even fantasy. She's a fantasy girly, but she's not a contemporary fiction girly, this is what this is. But I absolutely love this one. I gave this 5 stars. This one made me cry, and you think it's going to be about like her husband, and it's not. It's like, I thought it was, like, the way it's set up in the beginning, you think it's going to be about her husband, and it turns into something else completely, which absolutely worked for me. I absolutely love this one. I will be keeping it. I would like to read more by Rosie Walsh. I hope Book of the Month does more with her. I don't know what's coming out next. And then it is September 29th, and I finished this yesterday. And talk about putting this one last minute. I've been so good about not doing that, but yeah. So that is The Between by Tananarive Due. This is psychological horror at its finest, because as you are reading this, you don't know what's really going on, and I absolutely love that. I was like, is this real? The whole time I was reading it, I was like, am I tripping? Like, it felt like I was on an acid trip, and like, I've never taken acid, but like, I assume that's what it would feel like because it was insane in the best way possible. And I still think that it was slow, but like, it didn't bother me. I kind of like slow horror, slow thrillers, because there's so much buildup. And towards like the last 100 pages of this book, my heart was beating so fast because I was just like, what is going on? So 5 stars for The Between. I would love to read more by this author. I know that she has several things. She's also a writer for, I think, movies and TV, because I just started following her TikTok and she celebrated WGA getting off strike, which I thought was great because she can write the fuck out of things. So keeping this, keeping The Love of My Life, and then Rachel's Holiday went into my free little library just because I bought the copy off of Pango and it wasn't a pretty copy. Like, I didn't want to sell a copy that was so not good. So that's it for 12 and 12 part 3. I have 3 more books to read for this project, and they are probably the ones that scare me the most, because one is an 18-hour audiobook, which is just like, and the 2 I have to read physically. And I have been reading more physically this year than I have in like any other years since audiobooks became part of my life, but still. So I have Katrina, I have Amy or Bex, I can't remember, and then I have Alex from Cola Goddess. So we'll see. That's the end of this video. Thanks for watching my video. See you in my next one.
Losing time, I'm fading fast.